right? Okay, so before we jump into it, the reason why you guys see me sometimes try to be fast and quick, it doesn't mean that I don't want to hear what everybody has to say, but I want you guys to get in the habit of being really good at brevity, which is go straight to the point, cut it, go straight to the point, because it's actually not. It's something you have to practice, right? It's not something that you just learn how to do. You don't turn it on and off, right? Because it's something that was drilled into all of us as Nigerian students. Over explain, write extra sheet, write three paper. No, 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 no. In the real world, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. It's like, give me exactly what the answer is, then elaborate, right? So give me the answer, then elaborate. So that if you get tired along the way, I don't already get the gist. You get? So that's it. Like brevity, brevity, brevity. It's going to help you guys so much in pitching. It's going to help you guys in a lot of things, right? So that's it. So without further ado, Ash, can we start? Um, Also, I'm seeing some new people here. That's
Okay.
good, yeah. But can you share our this thing?
Okay, so I should share the
Fure,
doc.
Fure, how are you doing?
Oh.
So Fure is on the
Hello,
phone.
hi
Good, good,
everyone. Yeah,
nice,
I'm
nice.
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm okay.
that's
I'm
the
observing
that's
today.
the that's the person doing magic for Patch on the community side. So welcome her to the family. Yeah. Noah, how are you doing too? Yeah,
Very
you
well.
soon start speaking because you've been quiet for
Evening.
the longest time.
Very well. I'm good. From
Good,
Friday, hopefully.
good, 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 good.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so today we would do the jargons, right? So the terms you need to understand if you're trying to raise money from external investors, or if you're trying to just raise money from somebody else. So take for example, even if it's your family or your friends, right? You might tell your friends, "Oh, I'm building something. I want you to invest." It will be like, "Oh, no, be our guy. I beg," right? But you can send them a term sheet or a draft, and they will look at it and they will say to themselves, "Oh, you're taking this thing serious. Actually, maybe I should stop treating you like just my friend and actually listen to what you have to say, right?" So these things are actually very important. But we're going to spend. Um, Ashley has it. She's going to share the link with everybody too. We're going to go through it. Um, Maybe give you guys a little bit more explanation, right? Then we'll now go to the roadmap um, section because I want us to really do that because once we have the roadmap out of the way, now we can now start um, looking at everybody's pitch deck. Everybody can start presenting their pitch deck from next week, right? Their MVP, like everything. And we can now start fine tuning, like putting the final touches to it. Okay. So, Ash, you've shared the link to everybody, right? On the group. Yeah, you're on mute. Sorry.
Yes, I have. I have.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Good. Ash, do you can you take this off so that I can go through it?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Um, I mean, it's an extensive note. We probably can't go through all of it,
All of them. Yeah.
right? But what we can do is I can talk you guys through the very important ones that you also need to know, right? So, Ash, can you open up a new page? Or do you have CSC here? LTV, CSC, all the runway, bond rates. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You have all of it. Okay, fine. So
So
let
I should start from here.
yes, yes. So
Okay.
runway. So the first thing you want to do as a company is make sure you're building something customers actually want first. So traction is important. Don't say some people are using our product. Say we've seen traction. And when you say we've seen traction, give numbers. So and give numbers that make sense. Also, if you can give numbers that start measuring up to your competitors, right? So let's take a rough example. You can say people use Notion to write, to take notes or something like that, right? But you figured out that people that note taking is sometimes it takes time. Sometimes there's loss in fidelity of it. That a voice recorder might actually do really well. So you've built the best voice recorder that um, can remember, that has a memory or something. And so far, you've seen traction in 300 hours of voice recordings, um, uh, 10,000 API calls to the voice transcriptions and summarization, right? And now you now have even 70 paid customers. So follow with numbers if you can. And the reason for this is that if you can't and you're going long, it means you're already going at the wrong things. So when you say traction, show how people are using it, give us the numbers so we can have a clear comparison to the existing infrastructure or the existing competitors, right? So that is very important. But also, while you have traction, you also have to stay alive, right? Because markets might keep turning till you are down to your very last 2 months or 1 month before either your investors click or you start getting the outsized traction, right? So you must stay alive. And what you need to stay alive is what we call a burn rate, which is if you have money at all, how much are you spending every month? And how many months do you have before the money runs out? Before you run out? If you do not understand what your burn rate is, you don't know how long it will take you to survive. And what we call what it takes you to survive is a runway, which is what is my burn rate, how much am I burning, and based on this current burn rate, how much runway do I have, right? When you're talking to investors or to anybody and you're saying things like, oh, I mean, we just started, we all pulled from our savings, and our burn rate currently is like $300, and we have 8 months of runway to continue. In their head, they already know you respect your business enough to know your numbers. And if you already have that kind of work ethic, you would take care of their money for them, right? So whenever you hear them say things like, we are investing in the founders, these are also some of the things they're also investing in. They want to know that you can take care of their money and you can actually nurture it and be frugal with it till you find product market fit, right? We're going to discuss that one too. So, product market fit is basically when you have built something that the cost, basically when you have traction. So, traction and paid traction, like revenue traction, is okay, fine, you have PMF, right? So, we've discussed three things now. We've discussed bond rates, we've discussed runway, we've discussed PMF, right? We've discussed traction. So, four things, right? Um, okay, so those are very important. You should always know those ones. Now, your bond rate is down to employees, so salaries, marketing, subscriptions. So every line item of what you're spending, you must know it. Now, you can put yourself on a salary but not draw it. So what it means is that I'm supposed to be earning $1,000 every month, but I'm not taking that salary, right? Because we have little resources now, so we need to build the company first. Now, once you start getting traction, you start getting revenue, right? If you're lucky enough to raise, right? Because I always keep saying this too, the best way to raise money from is your customers. Raise, Raising finance is not easy, right? Let nobody glamorize it for you. It's not easy, right? So if you're lucky enough to raise, you should be able to do what we call a secondary, which is, oh, I've sold, we've raised money, but I want to do a secondary. I want to offer my own personal shares up to cash in some money. So we could do that in any way. I mean, there are ways to do that. Whenever people get to that place, we'll revisit it, right? But the most important thing first is you start with build something people like and are willing to pay for, get traction, right? And traction is always the first one. So get traction. Then while you have traction, you must make sure that you survive, you don't die. And for you to know how long it will take you not to die, you must know what your costs are, which is your burn rate. You must know what your runway is. So we have 4 months to go before we run out of money, right? So you have to know that. Now, if we drill deeper into the burn rate and other costs you can actually carry in the business, things we come to things like what is how much are you spending on marketing? So if you spend, let's say, $100, for example, on marketing, and you get 10 customers, it means that, well, you spend 100, you get 10. So basically, every customer is costing you $10, meaning that that customer must be able to pay you $10 for the cost you spent on marketing to be equal, right? So CAC is customer acquisition cost. How much is one customer costing us to get, right? Now, the beauty of building a community, right, is down to what, at least phrase here, is down to what they've been doing with Page, which is they're getting customers because they've been doing a whole lot of organic marketing. So their customer acquisition cost is not high because they're not doing advertising. They're leaning in on the community and they're making a whole lot of revenue from it. Nectify, same thing. Nectify basically just enjoys community love, right? Because also they're leaning into the community. And this is actually um, where three businesses have an advantage because if you've built a community and you're not selling into that community, you don't have to convince them, at least in the very early stages, right? And once they start using it and they start talking to other people outside the community, it's also word of mouth, which is also one of the cheapest but most effective because it's testimonial of a friend. You get? So this is why we always say be active with the community, play around with people, help people out so that on your own day they would rally around for you. You get? Imagine if Nectify was trying to garner savings from regular people, and in 3 months they've already garnered around $60,000 in savings alone in a low trust environment like Nigeria. It would almost be impossible, right? So this is it. You want to make sure that your customer acquisition cost is low, right? So how much money are you spending to acquire a particular customer, right? Then the LTV is also what is total revenue you can squeeze out from this customer. Take for example, if the if you're doing a subscription, right, and the normal time people spend within that kind of app is 3 months before they cancel their subscription. If you spent $10 to acquire them and you're charging $3 a month, they would never be able to pay it off. So you're basically building a business that would always lose money, right? So these are the things you also kind of want to have in mind. In true fashion, I don't like throwing a lot of things at people because I really hate lectures, right? So the note is here. You guys can go back and at least take the very first five we discussed, right? Because we have a video on it. You can come back to the video and reference it. Then, if you guys like it so much, we can in the next session, not in the pitch clinic, in the pitch day, but maybe on Monday or maybe during the weekend or something, right? If if we have time, we could just do an emergency call and just go through some of it for anybody who's available, right? But these five are like the ones that are very key for you to know, at least in the very early days. Traction, burn rates, runway, um, CAC, LTV, right? Yeah. So I think we can take that. Then we can now go to roadmap, right? But so does anybody get it? Do we? Is anybody confused with the ones we discussed? Any questions? Anybody wants to answer? Any? No. Okay. So fine. Yeah. Chidera, what is it you want to say? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned how to calculate the value for, like, for example, if you have a monthly subscription. A
Yeah.
lot of products do, let's say, transaction fees and all of that. So how do you actually calculate some of those values since they don't have, like, a
Yeah.
specific amount per month?
Yeah. Okay. So
So
so maybe what you can do is figure out how much money, how many transactions um, you'd have to do for a particular customer's marketing budget to pay off, right? So if you spent this month, you spent $100 in marketing, right? And you are only able to register 10 new customers, new paying customers. What it means now is like, based on what you're charging, how many transactions you need would you need for that particular customer to drive to for the cost you've spent on them to be equal, right? Okay, fine. So that's good. Yeah. Any other question? Nothing. So we're clear on that. Okay, fine. So before we get into roadmap, there's an alpha I want to share with you people, and this is something that we. It's not that we ignored it, but it wasn't the right time for us to discuss it. There is something about surviving in crypto and winning in crypto that many people don't know, which is no. Oh, is Lily here? Lily, are you here? Okay, she's not. Okay, fine. There's something that is very important, which is no matter what you're building, basically make sure you are in sync with the meta of the time. So, for example, in the past, what we've done is we build amazing products that we believe should exist in the world, but they're often off meta. So, what meta means is trend, right? What is trendy? Now, I know this is counterintuitive for many people because you don't want to do that in the regular world. However, liquidity pursues trend, liquidity pursues meta, right? So, when the NFT boom was around, if you I mean you could have built the best DeFi app, it wouldn't matter because what investors were chasing at the time was NFTs. So it was NFTs, it was meme coins, it was DeFi, it was all that, right? Now, many times we built great stuff, but we missed the meta, right? This time around, the meta is very clear, and we're all lucky that a hackathon is actually coming, right? You can basically build around the right meta now, so that and I can't believe I'm the one saying this. It's like trend washing, right? And the reason why I'm sharing this is that you also need to learn how to play the game the way others play the game. You cannot play the game in a very pristine manner and expect to win, right? You must play the game the way others play it, right? And have your long-term vision of where your app is going. But what you want is, like we mentioned earlier, you don't have to die. So for you to be alive, if a meta comes around or if a trend comes around, ask yourself, is there any part of my business that can benefit from this trend? If there is none, then don't do it. But if there is, find a way to latch onto the trend. What normally happens is that you might be at level 20. If you latch onto a trend, maybe it gets you up to 50. When the trend expires, it probably gets you maybe down to like 30. But you're 10 points away from where you started, right? So these are actually this is something I also wanted us to discuss. The trend now, currently, in crypto, we call it meta. The meta now is capital markets, DAT, so digital asset treasuries. That's actually what the meta is now, right? So we're going to do a little bit more extended video. I actually have one of it scheduled this week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it drops this week, right? Where I'll discuss capital markets and how founders can actually use it. You get to kind of raise money for themselves or build around something that makes investors see that, oh, there's a capital market angle to what these people are building. So maybe it's worth betting on, right? So that's what I wanted to drop before we get into the roadmap. Because it would also help when you're structuring your roadmap, right? Good. Ash, you need to subscribe for a pro. Let me know immediately after this call. You're the one setting up the calls, right?
No, it's Emmanuel actually. I actually have a pro link. Let me just
Okay, so maybe
share.
drop it. Should we switch to that immediately or?
Let me get it first then.
Okay, fine, yeah. But also, Emmanuel, you also need to be on a pro version, right? So whenever we start, whichever person's account we're using is actually it doesn't interrupt. Okay, so fine. So let's go to roadmap. Um, but so far, does anybody have a question around the meta thing or the trend thing? Does anybody have a question or a clarification you want to make? Okay, fine. Okay, good. Okay, so we move on to roadmap, right? So the thing with roadmap is, and this is where I think is underutilized by some of our founders, right? Because, okay, actually, you want to say something?
Yeah, I've sent the pro. I think before we start the roadmap discussion, I think we should move to the pro link first.
Okay, okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay, Touch, is that you asking what meta is? You the wine, Abi? Touch now, you the wine us or you dey serious?
All right. I think people are jumping. His mic is bad. ICM and DTA. What is DTA?
Okay, so you can take off the presentation now, yeah. You can stop presenting. We'll just take it from there. This is a roadmap, yeah. Okay, fine. So good. I want to set up something. Okay, fine. So um, roadmap. This is something we don't use it as much as we should, and the reason for this is that we try so much to build out everything once, right? You should see the roadmap as storytelling, which is, oh, we are deciding to go with this one now, but immediately we're done with this, we would. Which one are we? Are we? Which one are we on now? Which one is the new one? Are you
The
sure?
one I pasted
Are you
in
sure
the
people know
chat.
that? Are you sure people know that we're already on the other side because people are still on the other room? Yeah,
I'll join the other call and ask them to join.
yeah, yeah. Because a lot of them are still there. Yeah. You can also stop presenting. Yeah.
I'm presenting on this new one. I'm not presenting on the old
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So stop presenting on this new one. I need to see the layer of people. I need to see
Okay,
people.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
No
fine.
problem.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So so that's it. Roadmap is supposed to be like storytelling, right? Where your your
Sorry, I can't hear you on this new one. The volume is kind of down.
really? Can you hear me now? Who else can't hear me? Can you guys hear me? Everybody can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, okay, fine, yeah, fine.
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
Okay, fine, yeah.
Can hear you.
Okay, so once you articulate your pitch deck properly and where you're headed and the mission of the business, right? You can now decide to stage everything properly. The first thing you want to build is to show your customers, your employees, your investors that you can ship something at all in the mission, right? But it's also important to stage out the business, right? So that if you try to ship everything at once, your roadmap is going to get clogged. You're not going to be able to make anything work really well, right? With a roadmap, you tell anybody like this is something you have to look out for. Oh, you think you love this one now? Wait till we do this. It's a very good hook, right? Oh, you think we love this? Wait till we do this. Oh, we know you're suffering through this right now. We're working on it for next quarter. So it helps retain your investors, retain your employees, retain your customers. Now, notice I keep saying employees when you're pitching, because the first set of people that would believe your product are the people you hire to do it for you, right? So if your employees don't believe in the mission and they're second guessing and they're like, oh, let me call somebody else that will explain it to you, they're just there for the paycheck. You don't want that, right? You want people that believe the mission, and you also have to pitch them, right? Um, you guys might want to check this out much later once we get off the call. It's something that Steve Jobs used to have. Like, they said it about him. They said he had a reality distortion field, which is no matter what you think, the moment you come close to him and he starts pitching you, you would literally agree with everything he said. When you now leave, you'll be like, what the fuck did I just agree to? Right? It was, and that's how he was able to get people to build things they had no idea they could build. Because once you get into that orbit, like, listen, I keep saying this, like, founders, your job isn't to code. Your job is to sell, is to communicate, is to get people to believe in what, is for them to see your passion and say to themselves, you know what, hey, it's either this person is going to survive, or let me just invest in them so that this torturing will stop. Because they would literally say this anywhere they are, right? So, so that's the main thing. So the reason why I say all this is because when it comes to your roadmap, it must be very convincing and you must stage it properly. You get? So build the first thing. So not really minimum viable products, but the minimum usable products. So saying things like, oh, we are building the front end, but the back end is not ready. That's not MVP, that's rubbish. Right? What is the tiniest thing that you can ship that customers can use? What is the tiniest thing you can ship and your customers can use, right? That helps, because the very moment a customer can use something, they can say to themselves, "Oh, but it doesn't have this thing, oh, but at least this one that is here, I still like it." I can now tell them, "Oh, wait till we ship it next month," right? And this is very important. Don't try to build everything at once. Don't try to build the full mission at once, right? Build the tiniest implementation or proof of the idea, and go to customers and learn from that and come back, right? And that is actually what you want to do. So, take Chatter for example. Whatever you're building inside Chatter, Chidera, whatever you're building inside Chatter is useless till an Instagram vendor uses it, collects payment, handles transaction with customer, and tells you, huh, this thing remain here or it remain here. That's when you've arrived, right? And I always say this, I mean, look at how much we are in this call right now. And the very first, I don't know, is Alex here? Alex, are you here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
By the way, how is your head? Alex he had a surgery and he looks funny as hell. Like, the plaster is almost like one part of his face. It's a very funny thing, But yeah, but I mean, Alex was here when we started. The first community call was less than. Divina, stop laughing. The first community call we did. This is community call, was actually, I think, 27 people or what. It was somewhere around that number, right, Alex? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at now, for example, and all our, like, the smallest thing you can get is 30 something, 40 something, 50 something in internal calls, not even community. Community calls now probably does numbers that are just crazy as hell, right? So, the reason why I bring this up is, if you have one customer, you are better than somebody that has an amazing app with no customers, right? You build on that, right? If you've signed up one restaurant, for example, right? That's good. You build on that, right? You create content for those people, and you market that content, and somebody else picks it up, right? Take for example, Mide is here. Mide landing 4 or 5 merchants, right? Is amazing because now he's landed those merchants. He can create content for them, and they can sing his song all through, like throughout. and more people come in, and you give yourself time to grow. You get? So and the reason why I say all this is because I come back to the roadmap is build something that at least a customer can use to solve a problem. Then work on, okay, what is the next feature they want? What is the next feature they want? I mean, we are all here and we see how we are helping Streamlink build the app as fast as possible, right? You know, and the reason for that is because it's being used. A time will come when we'll do maybe like a proper custom Q&A clinic where everybody bring up your app and we try to use it and we tell you what is wrong with it and we diagnose it by using it, right? It's something we also have to come back and do, right? So those are also very important. So build the minimum usable product, not the minimum viable product, the minimum usable one. So look at everything you're working on and say to yourself, which tiny part can I build? Then every other dream I have for this product will be in the roadmap. Because if you tick out something in your roadmap, if you tick good and say, oh, we've done this, you should also be able to have traction to that part. We've done this, and this has given us this amount of users or this amount of metrics, right? The next time you're doing something, you say, okay, fine, this is my roadmap. This is what I expect to get out of it. So, for example, Ashley, please write this down so that we'll go into the workbook that everybody can actually use to get their roadmap in order. Is roadmap. So, what I intend to achieve, the metrics that I want to have when I achieve it, and the time frame. You get? So three of them. So when you now do your roadmap doesn't look like a wish list. It's like, oh, number one, ship app to users. When you tick good, on the part where you tick done, it will have like a small section for the traction you got out of shipping that. 700 customers signed up, $300 in revenue, churn rates down to 3% or 4%, right? And you do that for every roadmap. Investors glance, they don't read. They glance first, right? So once they glance from, they're like, oh, I've not even seen detailed roadmap like this, but it doesn't look bulky. It's just well done, right? You're like, okay, fine. So it means that you can now even put in other roadmaps. You can say this is this thing. Then in the metric part of measuring if that roadmap was achieved, basically like turn your roadmaps to milestones, right? And say, okay, fine, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. Tick. So they can now look at the title, then look at the sub one and say, oh, okay, this is interesting, right? So that's one way to also kind of look at roadmaps, right? So that's that. Anybody have questions around roadmaps, or is there anything I've shared that is confusing to people? If
So I want to ask,
yeah.
for the roadmap, you have been saying about products. So in writing up your roadmap, does it only say you just talking about product, what you hope to ship? Can you also add something like, okay, you plan on entering new markets?
Oh yes, it's allowed. Yeah, yes, it's allowed. Yeah, it's allowed. It's
Okay.
allowed. Yeah, it's allowed. Yeah, it's allowed. Yeah. So anybody have anything about it? Is it clear? Is it not clear? What do you guys think? Oh no! Don't type it. Say it. Don't be typing.
No, it's not necessary to add any dates. You don't need to add dates per se.
Oh
It's
no!
just
Actually, don't help him. The person should say it themselves.
okay.
I think I need to start giving. I think I need to start giving negative mark in this class. I think people need to start owing me money now. Yeah, AK now. Open your mouth and say something. Say something.
Hi, GM, everyone. Can you hear me, sir?
I can't see you. If you don't have face, you don't exist. Don't worry. I can't see you. Forget you're not ready.
My camera.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry. You keep it to yourself. Keep that beautiful idea to yourself. Switch, are you in the toilet?
Now we have
You're not. Hey, you're not. I don't understand what you're talking about. So you're not ready. Who else? Who else wants to say something?
Yes, Zubi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask.
Mm.
So sometimes when we are building, right, especially in the marketing side
Yes.
and even the product, yeah, right, you get to see a new face or a new side to what you're building. Some things
Yes.
you didn't think existed,
Yes.
right? Or yes, some products you didn't think you would have, right? And then all of a sudden it just comes up.
Mm.
And so how do you now infuse all of these things that looks like somewhat like a pivot from what you have already done,
Mm.
right? You know, how do you communicate that without it being a red flag?
So let me know if I get the question. So it's around when you go into the field and a hypothesis you have in your head changes because of what you're seeing. Do you
Yeah.
change the product or do you hold your ground? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, so it's more like how do you communicate that in the roadmap? You know, like now this is what you have currently. This is what your MVP or your product can do now.
Okay, so
Right.
how do you put that in your roadmap? Okay, so Ashley wants to answer it. So Ash, do you want to go ahead? Yeah, and I can actually add to that after.
Okay, so the thing is, you at the end of the day, no matter like as startups, you're building from the ground up. Nobody really knows you. Sorry to say, but like nobody really knows you. So if while you were building, actually investors really like that because it means that you've tried something, you failed, and you've learned something else, and you're basically going to be taking what you've learned and implementing it into your product. That's what a pivot is. So you can indicate that like I remember last year around during the hackathon last year, Kaiki had pivoted from just using basically just tracking employee theft to using that data to build credit for mechanics and their vendors, like the whole credit lending thing. So you can see that they understood that they basically built and understood that like, oh, employee theft is not the only problem these guys have. Like especially when it comes to cars and people renting out their cars, like there might be damage during the journey, etc, etc. And then they took it and said, okay, now that we've learned this, we're building out these features for our users, and it's a pivot. They've already put it in their roadmap. So like communicate it to investors so that you basically showcase to them that you are a learner, like you're not just building inside a vacuum, and you're not like building inside this like echo chamber of like, oh, it's good, it's great, it's good, it's
I
great,
mean,
it's good.
basically, they know that you have strong views, but those strong views are loosely held in face of superior logic, right? Um, so it also speaks to the part in the founder products fit we mentioned earlier, which is this is what we're building. However, because we've built for so long, we found something in the market that everybody is missing, and we got that from somebody in the market telling us this. So you're listening to the market. What the investor knows is that, oh, your ego is not clouding your judgment. You don't want to build a beautiful, fine app. You want to build a revenue positive app, right? And they love that. They will literally give you more money for that. So, for example, um, Twitter, as you know it today, wasn't supposed to exist, right? B. Stone, Ev Williams, Jack Dorsey raised money for an audio podcast platform. It was called Audio at the time, ODEO, right, at the time. And they tried to build it, but halfway they found out, oh, we've built this thing, it's really nice and everything, but it's not getting traction. They called their investors back and they said, we don't think this is going to work. So we want to give you back your money, the ones we haven't spent. However, there is this tiny thing we are building and we think it's going to be a hit. If you want, we will give you your money back. If you believe in this thing we are building, you can transfer the funding to it. It was called Twitter at the time, but it was TWTTR. I don't know if anybody was old enough here to know that then, right? But it was TWTTR. That's what it was at the time. Monarch, you know it, right? Yeah. So some people took their money. Some people transferred it, and one of the guys that took their money literally said later that it's one of the biggest fumbles of his life. That he doesn't feel that no matter how much he makes again, he doesn't feel it would make sense because he missed that one. Take so the thing is that it's you, like I actually was saying, they want to know that you can learn, right? But also communicate, right? Tell them this is what has happened, right? When I was a young man, you don't want yourself, but tell them this is what has happened, right? And investors will trust you if you speak the truth, right? If you speak the truth. So that's it. Donatus, yeah, you wanted to say something, so go ahead.
So I think you answered one of the questions I wanted to
Okay.
ask about the land issue. So I have another question. So in your pitch deck, so
Yeah.
do you have like a specific pitch deck that you send to VCs or another specific kind of pitch deck that you know, maybe you send to other people or probably during like they say send me a pitch deck you can
Yes.
send to them.
Yes, there is. Yes, there
And
is.
but all of them will have to follow the same structure that
No. So it's different audience. So for investors, you give them the traditional 10-page pitch deck with your ask, right? Traditional 10-page pitch deck with your ask for investors. For your employees, you you know what this you know the part you want to hit on your pitch deck. It might be more around the roadmap, right? And um, and this is going to be funny to say this, but more like cult building, right? It's ginger. It's like motivation, the roadmap, but also this is who we are fighting against. This is who our enemy is, right? We need to take you for example. You can say, I don't want anybody to see a reason to use any checkout whatsoever ever again, right? And you're pitching them that, and they take that story, and they go out on the battle on your behalf, on the behalf of the company, right? Communicating what everybody gets, communicating shares, showing them that you love them, like all those sort of things, right? Yeah. Um, Actually, that's true. Benny is into events, so they're calling him on the chat. They say that he has 92 pitch decks now, right? But that's actually important because the way he talks to the way he talks to Red Bull and Monster to pitch to come for his event isn't the same way he's going to talk to Manja to be present. Isn't the same way he's going to talk to um, banking investors. Isn't the same way he's going to talk to maybe like the media people, right? So it's figuring out what it is what's your aim is. Also, there's a part of our session we haven't done yet. We're still going to do, which is community building. I'm also supposed to drop a video on that, right? So maybe the best would be drop videos on that, then we discuss the video. It might actually make more sense since we kind of are running out of time, right? So that's that, right? So I think does that answer your question?
yeah.
Yeah, Solomon, you want to ask something? I think you're mute, Solomon. Solomon, I think you're mute.
I don't think he's muted. I think there's something wrong with his mic.
Oh,
Maybe it's
okay.
mic on.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. So, I mean, anything else we want to discuss? Is everybody okay? Okay, Ashley and Chris. Yeah.
Basically, I just wanted to add to that, like the different pitch decks
Okay. Yes.
conversation. So if you're meeting, like if a lot of VCs are quoting you, you have to create profiles for every VC. Like some VCs, they're more game forward. Some VCs, they're more consumer forward. Some VCs, they're more like DeFi forward. And it goes for investors too, VCs and investors. You create profiles similar to how the VCs treat you. You should treat them that way as well. They create profiles for you. Look at the cons, the pros, the liability, the risks, everything.
I mean
So if
to add to that, sorry, Ashley's got you. To add to that too, also study your VCs. Figure out what they invested in, but also figure out what they did not invest in. Because if they didn't invest in something and that thing cooked, they carry FOMO around.